still doing better than the one in China, but you run right here. See you. Boardwalk down. Boardwalk right along.
Another seat, so you don't need to be 2 minutes on today. Have a seat.
We ready, Mr. Chairman?
Yeah, we're ready.
We ready?
Pick her up anytime.
Okay. Susie, we got like 4 hours, right? Yeah. And Cove is ready for us, yeah. Is this thing on? Yeah.
We're all good.
Well, welcome to Wayzata. My name, for those that don't know it, is Senator Paul Anderson, and this is actually on behalf of Senator Osmick. Welcome to Senate District 33. That gorgeous area over there is Senate District 44 and the home of Joe Mauer. So I just want to point that out. This is home to me. I grew up here. I went to elementary school just up on the hill, which doesn't exist anymore, but this is a city that is just a crown jewel of Minnesota and really our country. And when you talk about this Lakeside Effect project, you're talking about 2% of the Lake Minnetonka. You think of all the lakeshore, I think it's got more lakeshore than anywhere around the country, truly. Lake Minnetonka, because of all the bays, it has a ton of lakeshore, and only 2% has public access. All the rest is privately owned. Right here is your prime spot. So when the mayor and city manager, Mayor Wilcox and Jeff Dahl make some comments, you'll hear a little bit more, but this is a tremendous public access right here, and any summer night, and really any night across the whole entire year, you can come down here and not find people just from this community, not around the whole state, not around the whole nation, but because of the destinations here, you've got a global attraction here. It is phenomenal. All you got to do is come down here on a summer night and hear the languages being spoken and the people that are here. So I just want to welcome you here. Thank you to the bonding committee, the capital investment committee, for the $400,000 in the railroad safety project that was done. You just came across as you came across Lake Street. So thank you for that. But now we're on to bigger and better things. Not that that's not really important. So I want to turn it over to Mayor Willcox. But again, welcome to Senate District 33 and 44.
Thanks, Senator. Well, again, thank you very much and welcome to Wayzata. Just so you know, Wayzata means north. We're on the north shore of Lake Minnetonka. But again, thank you, Senator Senjem, for getting us on your schedule. I know this is your last stop, and you probably want to get back to St. Paul, but
We're good.
Okay, good. Well, thank you for all the members. Thank you for all the members of the committee that are here too. It's a real pleasure to have you here and an honor that you're gracing us. Our city manager, Jeff Dahl, will talk to you about some of the details later. And we have another council member of mine, Alex Plekish, out there somewhere. There he is, sitting down there. Sometimes our boards work, sometimes they don't. But anyway, so let me talk to you a little bit about what we're doing here. This project is designed to provide really a world-class amenity for, as Senator Anderson said, a broad swath not only of the metro area but of Minnesota, and as he said, we have visitors from all over here. And part of the impetus is not only to provide an amenity for local residents and visitors and people from the greater metro area, but it's to provide a quality of life and an amenity that can make it easier for us to attract talent into the area. Cargill is right down the street here, and I had a conversation with the chairman a couple of years ago, and he said what's good for Wayzata is good for Cargill, because we're trying to attract talent. And the better the quality of life, the attractions in the area, the easier it is for us to attract talent to the area and grow our business. And I know Mayor R.T. Ryback used to compliment me as well when we got restaurants and things like that. It really makes it easier to bring business into the area. So, Lake Minnetonka is the 9th largest lake in the state of Minnesota. It sprawls, it covers a couple of counties, Hennepin County, Carver County. It's got 14 municipalities around the lake, and it's busy. There are about 64,000 boat launches a year that happen here. We have the Dakota Trail that is the trailhead here, about 400,000 bike rides a year. As Senator Anderson said, the problem is that about 95% of the lake is in private hands. So there aren't many opportunities for the public to really experience Lake Minnetonka. This is the best on the lake. This is a world-class opportunity on one of the finest lake shores in the state, and that's what we're talking about here. The reason it exists is the railroad tracks you see here, and that's a good news, bad news combination. The bad news is the railroad tracks separate us from the lake. The good news is that were it not for those railroad tracks, this would all be built up and we wouldn't have any access to the lake at all. So part of what the bonding was a couple of years ago was to provide safer access across those tracks for our residents. Now, Wayzata is also a small town. Our population is under 5,000. It's probably somewhere around 4,200 at my guess at the moment. In fact, Wayzata High School has a bigger population than Wayzata. So, but it's in Plymouth. So anyway, like all small towns in Wayzata, everything's a struggle. We get no appreciable money from the state for even roads, so we have to fund everything ourselves. And so this project that is shovel ready, fully designed, and the result of a 10-year public process where we got the final design through the dealing with our residents and the people in the area. We started with St. Paul Riverfront Corporation that helped us get this thing kicked off. It's a $20 million project. We are committed to $10 million of that, and we're respectfully asking the state to consider coming up with the other $10 million for us. It's a regional, statewide amenity. We think it's very important. So I'm going to turn it over to our city manager, Jeff Dahl, and he's going to talk to you about some of the specifics.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Senator Senjem and the rest of the committee members for being here today. I know you're all busy and this is the last stop. We wish we could provide more refreshments than coffee, but hopefully the coffee keeps you warm and serves you well. Can everyone hear me okay? Yeah, okay. As the mayor, Mayor Wilcox had indicated, this lake is virtually inaccessible to the public, and that's why this community has spent over 10 years coming up with a plan to reimagine this space. In a nutshell, this project is 15 acres. It creates 3 new smaller parks. It includes a boardwalk, which is really the crown jewel of the project, of about a quarter of a mile, 1,200 linear feet, spanning essentially from this depot, historic depot area, all the way just a little bit beyond the Cove Restaurant, which connects with a historic building that is part of the project as well. It's the renovation thereof. So those are the kind of the key facts. It's 15 acres of new park space, a quarter mile of boardwalk, and it's a $20 million project. So in terms of details, this is a picture of the boardwalk and how it would look just going, actually coming from, if you're looking towards the west, from around those docks areas. This would be the boardwalk. We have worked for several years with BNSF on a arrangement where they would allow us to touch the boardwalk to the lake edge. So that's been very positive. I know not all entities have had similar success working with the railroad. We'd have, I'll just start here and work my way east. We'd have public restrooms in this area here. There'd be some very sophisticated way of getting onto the boardwalk or off of the boardwalk onto the depot park and ensuring that it is accessible for all, ADA compliant. That's not the case with a lot of this area now. The boardwalk would run, as I mentioned, skirting towards the east and touching base kind of just directly across the railroad tracks from Cove, which is that white clock tower building. Once it gets back to the land over there, it would keep running east to the Section Foreman's House building. That's a historical structure that was used, the house, the foreman of the railroad, over 100 years ago. That still remains today. It's not in the best shape. If we were over there right now, you would not be impressed, but that is a part of its renovation, and reuse is part of this project. So that's really kind of the lakefront version of the project. In addition to that, we are creating a plaza in front of Cove. Right now it's a parking lot with some green space, some fountains, things for people of all ages to enjoy, and then redoing some of the streetscape as well. Lastly, another regional component of this project, in addition to the boardwalk, is a regional trail connection. Mayor Wilcox mentioned it's probably around 500,000 people that use the Dakota Rail Trail that cuts through Lake Minnetonka and goes beyond westward. That trail essentially stops about 2 blocks from here. So part of this project is extending that trail into this more urban environment where it can access the boardwalk, it can access restrooms both here and there, and everything else. Ultimately, Three Rivers is working on a plan to extend the trail even further east to the Lake Minnetonka Regional Trail. So that's the project in a nutshell. I get excited, of course, when I'm talking about it. Overall, again, just to reiterate, the benefits of the project is really to provide vast and direct access to the lake. We're 15 minutes away from downtown. There's not too many places, as the mayor had indicated, and Senator Anderson, where you can actually come out, dip your toes into the lake. This project will do that. Significant safety enhancements, in addition to just ensuring that the railroad corridor is safe. There's not fences everywhere in this area, so we're going to be adding that. Safer crossings, and then also making it ADA accessible as well, which it currently is not. The regional trail connections, I mentioned that. In the plaza area, there's planned to be a veteran and 9/11 memorial. We have artifacts at Wayzata City Hall. A Wayzata resident was unfortunately lost in 9/11, and his father has gifted us some pretty cool artifacts of the World Trade Center that we hope to showcase in that plaza area. And lastly, preservation of the historic sites. This depot area, which is already a great space, there's still a lot of work to be done, especially around it. And then the Section Foreman's House. I wish we could see it. You could see how derelict it is right now. So there's 3 takeaways in addition to just learning a little bit more about the project. It's shovel ready. That's one thing we haven't mentioned. We have an EAW already complete. We have been working with Minnesota Department of Natural Resources. The design is done. Design costs a lot. There's a lot of engagement that's required. That's all done. We paid for that. And we have committed community partners, both on the public side and the private side. We've been working with Three Rivers. We have a conservancy, the Lake Effect Conservancy, that is raising private funds to help assist with the entire project. And we have others more that have provided in-kind or just other types of assistance. That was a good catch. And again, the other takeaway is just so hopefully you leave here knowing a little bit more about the project. I think that's it. I think that's the project. Yes?
How's the school district and the YMCA involved with ski projects?
Good question. The question was, how is the school district and the YMCA involved? I didn't pay you to ask that question, but I'm glad you did. And that is because we've already started programming the area in and around the Section Foreman's House, which we'd hope to renovate and use differently. We have been working with the school district and the Y on some interim or I don't know what you'd call it, but just temporary programming, accessing the lake. The Y had 3 different camps of the past 2 years, lake life. So it's a combination of learning lake biology, sailing, because the Wayzata Sailing School is just 2 blocks basically to the east, and fishing. So we've already started programming it. The Y and the school district have been very involved in that, and they want more. They want to use it more and bring kids from this district and all around the region to that site. So thanks and good questions. I think the mayor's going to wrap it up, but we will also have some more time afterwards for questions. And if you look over there when you're going out, there's some more visuals of what the project's going to look like, and kind of a map showing where the different sites are. So I'd encourage you to take a look at those as well.
So the property here along on this side of the tracks, is this city owned, or is that the, I mean, if it is not, will it be?
Good question. So the property, the question was, is the property south of the railroad track city owned? And the answer is yes. Any other quick questions before Mayor Wilcox kind of wraps it up? Great.
What about in the winter? You have pylons under this, variation and...
Well, that's one of the question was, what about the winter? What does that do for the project? The boardwalk is still going to be open. That's one of the reasons why it's cost so much, because the boardwalk has to go way down into the ground, the piers, so that the ice that comes from the south doesn't destroy it. Unfortunately, we can't bubble it like we do some of the docks out here, because that really would ruin the integrity of the ice around here, and because we have so many areas that are bubbled, we can't do that either. So that's why we got to put the heavy-duty piers in. The plaza area that's a part of the project will also have winter activities such as ice skating, fire pits, things like that for people from all over to use.
And the city will own it, right?
Question was, will the city will own it? And that is correct, yes.
So what if you don't get all the money?
Question was, what if we don't get all the money? Well, we're planning on getting all the money. But fortunately, the project can be kind of, for lack of a better term, split up. The gem is really the boardwalk. It's bookended by the depot park and the Section Foreman's House area, which we call the Eco Park. So there's really 3 chunks that it could be split into if we had to.
Let me just do one for the mayor.
So this should have probably all happened initially, but I want to thank Senator Paul Anderson for inviting us out here today. I'll tell you what, we've been out 3 days now. This is the last one that was pointed out, and what a nice, beautiful place to end our bonding tour, if you will, of Southwest Minnesota. Although I guess this is maybe Southwest Metro, I don't know, but but it's very nice. And I look across this lake and the beauty of the trees, and I tell you, is there a tree in Minnesota as pretty as this one right next to us? That'd be tough competition. It's good to be here. Certainly, I want to introduce the committee, or at least have them introduce yourselves or themselves to you. But first of all, again, noting back, it's good to be here not only for Paul, but with Paul and listening to his project. And he's a great advocate, by the way, for you on many fronts, and does a great job in the legislature. So, my name's Dave Senjem. I chair this committee. It's a capital investment committee. We have about 400 project requests that have been filed with us, amounting to over $5 billion. So we have some big decisions to make, this amongst them, and we look forward to that as we go into the 2020 session next February. And we will be steadfast, we will be dutiful, we will be fair, and we will make good judgments. I can assure you of that. But with that, let me introduce our committee, or at least have them introduce themselves. Senator Thomasoni, do you want to start? And he, by the way, is from 400 miles north, no matter where we are.
Oh, that was when we were in Worthington. I'm now 200 miles north. My name's David Thomasoni. I'm the state senator from the Iron Range, and I live in Chisholm.
State Senator John Jasinski from Faribault, Ottawa-Waseca area, just south of the metro. And I spend a lot of time rurally, but I've also spent a lot of time at the Cove. A good friend of mine is one of the owners of the Cove. So what a great facility is down here. I spent a lot of time. It's very, very exciting, and I think this will be a great project.
State Senator Jerry Ralph, District 14, which is St. Cloud, Lake Park, St. Augustine, and a couple of townships to the east.
Senator Pappas?
Sandy Pappas, State Senator from St. Paul.
Chuck Wigger, State Senator from Maplewood. I have White Bear Lake and several other communities in suburban Ramsey and Washington counties.
Longford, State Senator from St. Paul. There's 4 of us, and I'm representing the side. Thank you.
State Senator Bill Ingebrigtsen from Alexandria. I represent Ottertail County, parts of Douglas County. I actually have over 1/10 of the lakes of the state of Minnesota in my district. Not quite this big.
And again, so Mayor, again, thanks for your hospitality. Thanks for bringing us out here today, and good luck on your project.
Thank you very much, Senator.
And congratulations. Obviously, your community's done a lot of work on this one for a long time, so I know that there's anticipation.
Great.
So, very good. Thank you
very much. Well, thank you. I just wanted to introduce a couple of other of our partners. You heard about the school district, Wayzata School District, that's working with us, the YMCA. We mentioned the Lake Effect Conservancy, which is the philanthropy arm that looking for philanthropic money to be part of this project, and Andrew Mullen is the head of that. Andrew, and if you have any questions for him, that would be good. We have Three Rivers Park representatives here. I can't see where they are. They're involved with the trail. Hennepin County representative Allison, hi. Who else am I missing here?
Chamber.
What's that?
Chamber.
Chamber. Where's the Chamber of Commerce back there? Why is that a Chamber of Commerce?
Congressman Phillips' office.
And Congressman Phillips' office is here as well. Zach. And who am I missing? Anybody?
Chief Riswell.
And our police chief, Chief Riswell, in case anybody gets unruly.
These guys, Chief, right here.
We're in good shape, and my fellow council member Alex Blackish is a retired Lieutenant Colonel Marine Corps fighter pilot, so he keeps us in good shape the rest of the time. So, again, thank you all for being here. Feel free to wander around. Hopefully the trains won't come and splatter anybody, but it's a beautiful day, and I appreciate your taking the time to be here with us. We really do appreciate it. Thank you.
What about a photo?
Yeah. Sure, we can do a photo.
You can ask Paul if he's up for it.
Music in the park.
Yeah, go Vikings. Yeah, we gotta go, Susie. You gotta get going. We gotta go, Susie. Did you pay for parking when you're out here?
No, there's a lot. We'll be able to go like a sister something. I know why I said that. You know what I said?
I would love it. We would have already been.
Yeah, we will. So what happens is well, no, so it's going to connect and it'll go all the way through. Yeah,
Keep me busy, I think.
Talking about it today?
and you'll be able to walk the bike.